Hi guys, DJ Jack back with you here real quick once again with another video. In this video, first let's do my review of the Michael Jackson movie, the Michael movie that just released. I saw it in theaters on Tuesday with my best buddy. I gotta be honest, I was impressed. So to give you a heads up with if you haven't seen the Michael movie yet, it takes place in the timeline between the Jackson 5 and his in the late 80s when he was just get ready to go into a solo tour, so into a solo career, and then ending through the late 80s. So it ran from basically the 1960s into the 70s all the way to the late 80s till 1988 when Michael Jackson. And it highlights that timeline, this particular movie. The next movie, the trilogy, the sequel, is going to focus on his later life. But this movie is focusing on the good part of Michael Jackson's life. Partly, if you don't know or not familiar with Michael Jackson's story, this explains the whole entire timeline between what happened between Michael Jackson's life between the 1960s to the late 80s. So it went from the Jackson 5 era all the way to his solo career. Not to give too much away, that's just to give you a heads up what this movie's timeline is. It's between the Jackson 5 era and his going into his solo career into the late 80s. So he started his solo career in the late 70s, but this movie goes all the way till the end of the 80s, which is 1988 is where it ends. And then the sequel is supposed to focus on his second half of his life. And now let's go off that topic of the Michael movie, but my review of the Michael movie is amazing. And if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. They've been making a lot of good movies about musicians lately, and I gotta be honest, the Michael movie was incredible. Worth watching it if you haven't seen it. Definitely worth it. I'm not sure if I'm going to see the sequel, but I did want to see the first movie because I know it highlights the good parts. And there was some controversy between the bad parts too of this era too. So his father, we all know Joseph Jackson was an asshole. Don't mean to say the A word, but he really was. He was too pushy on Michael and too pressury on him, trying to get him back to tour. Yeah, Joseph was a bad man. He just was an abrupt man. He just really was. Came from a very abrupt family, you know. His mom was very sweet. I mean, his mom is actually still living, so she wasn't very sweet. She's a very sweet person. But the father was a dick. I don't mean to say that word, but he really was. He was not a good man. Just to be honest. And if you're not familiar with Michael movie, you definitely, or Michael Jackson's story, his history is definitely very controversial because of his father, who was a very, very bad man, if you're not familiar with his story. That explains all of his bad parts and how the man was not a good person. The movie will highlight all of that. So just get a heads up to be prepared when you see the Michael movie if you haven't seen it yet. Also, going off the Michael movie, I just read an article or a story on Wikipedia and AI Google that this next Spider-Man movie, The Brand New Day, Sony has been asked, well, no, not Sony. Marvel has been asked by Sony, Marvel has been asked by Sony to hold off Miles Morales to be introduced in the live-action MCU until the final movie of the Spider-Verse, which is the animated franchise trilogy, ends. Which behind the last Spider-Man Spider-Man Behind the Spider-Verse, or the Spider-Man and Verse animated franchise with Miles Morales, it comes out June of next year, which is called Spider-Man Behind the Spider-Verse. And this is going to be the very final trilogy film of the animated franchise. And Sony said to Kevin Feige, Marvel directly, hold off introducing Miles until the animated trilogy ends. Then they can open the door to introducing Miles into the live-action MCU. So for those fans, don't expect Miles to show up in Spider-Man Brand New Day. He could be teased for the sequel. He could be teased in a post-credit scene, but that's up in the air right now. But just don't expect Miles to have a major part in Brand New Day until after the animated trilogy ends, which is the third movie, which comes out June of next year, which is called Behind the Spider-Verse. So just be prepared. Don't be disappointed, because just expect. So Marvel was told by Sony to hold off introducing Miles until after the Spider-Verse trilogy ends, the animated trilogy, which ends next year with its final third movie, and then he'll open the door to introduce Miles. So just be prepared for that, guys. Besides that, hit that subscribe button. We'll talk later. Thanks. Watch my video, and always like, and see you soon.